All right, what's going on, guys? Welcome back to the channel, and today I'm showing you how to install the StanceCo CTS-V rear tow arms. Now these work for the CTS and the CTS-V first generation, so that goes from 2003 if you're a base model, 2004 if you're a V, up to 2007 for both trim packages. I'm going to show you guys the product, and I'm going to show you guys how we got to this product, and I'm going to show you how to install. So this is ultimately going to be an install guide for installing the tow arms. So let's get started, and I'll show you guys how we got to the point that we are at today. So you guys, as you can see on the table, I have two tubes, threaded tubes, and basically this one is brand new. It's been sitting in my toolbox for 2 years now. And 3 years now, sorry. And this one is 3 years old. Now this threaded tube I've been using as a tow arm on the back of the black V. And basically because what happened was, because it's a Northeast car, because this car saw tons of salt and weather all year round, these stock tow arms were seized, only one of them. And it broke when we were trying to align it. So I ordered this length of tube and these heim joints in the pinch that I was in, and I made it work. And ultimately I ran this for the last 3 years through the Northeast, through the salt, everything. And I guess it's kind of a durability check for what we're gonna be releasing here very shortly in the coming weeks. So we have the brand new one. As you can see, the zinc coating held up pretty well for being a daily driven winter vehicle and being exposed to salt and road grime and all of that. You know, all together, I'd say it held up pretty nicely. You know, if you're using a track vehicle or it's your weekend cruiser, you know, your arms are gonna hold up a lot better than this basically. But again, 3 years and many miles, you know, a lot of road trips up and down the East Coast and whatnot. And I'm pretty happy with the way it held up overall. Heim joint, we didn't use any C's, so this is what the threads are looking like. And then out here, looking pretty good. As far as play goes, there is really no in and out, the slightest bit of like forward and back, like up and down play in this orientation, and the slightest bit of like side to side play. But again, heim joints are considered a wear item and they are inexpensive to replace. So, you know, basically I'm pretty happy with the fact that, you know, I probably put about 40,000 miles on these, and again, they held up pretty well. So this was what I started with, and I didn't really know at the time, but it was going to turn into a testing session and ultimately lead to what I have today. So let's give it the old YouTube magic and see what we got. Before me right here on the table is the new and improved version of this guy right here. It is a double adjustable tow arm that makes adjustments a lot easier on the car. So I'm utilizing the same zinc coated tubing here, just in 2 separate sections, and then we have a center adjuster right there, and we also have the proper spacers and all that, because I don't like to admit it, but in order to get the proper spacer and whatnot, center this in the subframe, I just use giant washers. So not proud of that. But either way, we have the StanceCo CTS-V rear trailing arms. Now, these arms again feature zinc coating, a steel double adjuster in the middle, standard heim joints, metal on metal, so there's no slop like Teflon, PTFE lined joints, so they tend to last a little longer. And then we have high quality spacers here to set it properly, and then we have our little guy right here. So basically you'll see that I have a heim joint missing right here. I will get to that in a second, but I am going to install these on the car, and then we'll go over some of the benefits of these as opposed to the stock arms. So looking down to where our tow arm mounts on the inside of the subframe, you know, we have, as you can see, a heim joint right there already mounted. Now, there is a 3/4 inch and a 1/2 inch spacer on each side. So basically the 3/4 inch is on the facing forward, and the 1/2 inch spacer is on the back side, and that will fill the gap on each side of the heim joint. You want to tighten the bolt. You're going to use this factory bolt, so you're going to tighten that bolt until there is no side-to-side play in the heim joint and the spacers. So backing out, the toe arm will then mount down on the knuckle. Down here on the knuckle is where you will find the lower mount. You're going to take our silver spacer right here, you're going to set that right in there, and then when we put our heim joint in, it's going to be the bolt with this little misalignment spacer right here, and it'll be completely tightened up. So now with every performance part, you want to know what's the benefit, what are you going to gain from it. So basically you're going to gain a couple things. You're going to get rid of the rubber that is on the stock toe arms. Now this rubber was made for comfort from Cadillac. They wanted to keep some of that Cadillac feel, and these cars aren't getting any younger. So that Cadillac rubber is probably old and dried up and giving you more deflection than you know when you're accelerating. When you accelerate in that rear end squat, and it basically makes your toe get funky. So what that does is we're adding 2 solid heim joints. Now with heim joints, you might get some more noise in the car, but that's what comes with any basic, doing the one-piece drive shaft on these cars, doing the motor mounts, the diff mounts, all that stuff. You are gonna make some more noise, but you are gonna have improvements otherwise. Now, the center adjuster is also a great benefit because it allows for very easy alignment adjustments. It'll make, whether it be track adjustments where you're going to and from the track, or just on the street, you need the alignment shop to set it, forget it, whatever it may be. This center adjuster and where it's positioned makes it very easy for you to make those adjustments. So like I said, it's a nice zinc coated arm that will be durable and will last a good amount of time, and I'm really excited to bring these out. I spent a lot of time testing the quality of the components, and after 3 years, like 40,000 miles, road trips, winter driving, salt, sand, everything, rain, they've held up very well, and pretty much to the point where I'm happy and comfortable to release them to you guys. So now I'm gonna get this other side in. The other side, I still have the factory toe arm installed. So we're just gonna pop that inside bolt out, pop that outside bolt out, do the quick swap. Like I said, on the inside, the 3/4 inch spacer goes towards the front of the car, the 1/2 inch spacer goes towards the rear of the car, and then you have your silver spacer and your gold misalignment spacer that go right there at the knuckle. So it's a very straightforward install. I'm doing this on jack stands, so anyone can do it if you have the tools. You're gonna need a 21, an 18, and an adjustable for doing the adjustments on the new arm. But to get the old stuff out, you're gonna reuse the stock bolts. It's a 21 on the knuckle, and it's a 21 nut and an 18 bolt head on the inner. So I hope this video is helpful to you guys, and thank you for the support. Thank you for those of you guys that have reached out that want a set of these. They will be in stock soon. It is June 2022, and they will be in stock soon, and the new website will be released with some other parts. I just want to get some of the other things done first, and then we will have everything available to you guys. Everything will be in stock. We're doing small batches at first, and just to see how everything does, but they will be in stock. They will be ready to ship by the time the website releases, and I am stoked to start bringing some products to the platform. So on the table here, guys, while I have some nice sunlight helping me out through the ceiling, I have the stock arm for toe, and I have our StanceCo arm right here. So I pulled this guy out. One of the first things you'll notice is the thickness. So this thing, while being a little thicker right here at the joint, is pretty thin. Now these rods at their thickest point are 7/8, and they come down to a 5/8 inch thread on the adjuster and on the Heims. And like you see here, we will be getting rid of this rubber bushing here and rubber bushing here that allow for deflection. Now I broke this guy loose on the car. As you can see, it spins and whatnot. And I will be temporarily putting these on the street car for the time being, ultimately until I just build another set of these, and then they'll be going on. So I broke them free. I'm gonna clean them up, lube them up, and make them nice and adjuster friendly. But the red car, the drift car, will be getting the StanceCo arm. So you can see the before and after here, and there is plenty of adjustment on this arm to match what is a factory toe adjustment, or as you lower the car and basically if you add camber, you need adjustment outward. If you take away camber, you're going to need adjustment inward. So you do have that adjustment. These guys don't last as long as these will, because you have that rubber, and these little joints right here love to get seized up, especially if you have a Northeast car, which is what happened on my black car. I've actually snapped one of these, and I know a couple people, other people that have snapped these as well, right at the threads, because these whole things just seize up. Now, if you live in an area where there's a lot of water or salt or whatnot, I would suggest maybe adding some anti-seize to the threads here. As you can see here, I did not on our test subject, and I mean, it still worked, but it definitely is, these nuts are definitely a little on the stuck side because they've been there for the last 3 years, but I would recommend adding a little anti-seize just to be safe. You know, it never hurts. Now, since this guy is out, it's time to throw this guy in. And as you can see, we have our spacer here that takes the place of this little bump out that goes into the knuckle. And then on this side, we have our short spacer on one side and our longer spacer on the other to get this Heim joint centered. So let's get it installed. I'm gonna first tackle the ride height on the driver's side. I cranked this thing up so much last night. We now have about 1 inch of ride height and a ton of shock travel. So I suspect that I might have to take some shock travel out once I get it more dialed in. But for now, I have a ton of shock travel and I have about 1 inch of wheel gap. These are some aggressive wheels for what I will likely be regularly running. This is only a 235 and it does poke. I need to hit these fenders front and rear with a fender roller. So we will get to that point, but let's get this thing installed and keep moving with this thing. All right, guys, so driver's side, I just got it fed in through here. I just basically start by feeding the bolt through, getting the first spacer on, basically slide the bolt into the end of that first spacer, and then slip your Heim joint on, go to the end of the Heim, and then use your other hand to get this last spacer in here, and then finish off by pushing it all the way through, and then we'll thread our nut on, and then we will come down here to the knuckle side to finish it up. So we'll just bring her on down here, get her lined up. This is certainly easier done with 2 hands than one when you have all these moving parts. So we'll get that tight there. We can back this out to align us with our knuckle hole, and then, like mentioned before, we have our silver spacer that sits in there, and then we're going to do our misalignment spacer. So I can throw the misalignment spacer over top of our bolt, put our bolt through our arm, and then line us up with that hole. And I need a little bit more length on it, and then we'll be able to send her in, and we'll have this thing all tightened up. From there, I'm going to try and match my ride height from side to side. I already cranked this one down. This car, functional ride height is what we're going for. And then once our ride height is set, I will go ahead and set our shock stroke similar to the other side. I'm pretty excited with the fit on these. We'll get some driving time on them, but they should be good. It is a way cleaner setup than what I've been running for the last 3 years on the black car, which turned into our test for this, as I mentioned before. And they're definitely going to be an upgrade from the stock arms. So stay tuned, guys, for more content. There will be more announcements regarding the CTS-V product line that we're going to be releasing between the handbrake bracket and the handbrake plate and whatever else we can come up with. If you have any suggestions for parts that you'd like to see that other companies aren't already doing, the poly bushings, the short shifters, all that stuff that's already out there, but anything different. A buddy of mine that has made some carbon fiber stuff for my 3000 in the past was inquiring about carbon fiber parts. So if you guys are interested in carbon fiber stuff, let me know what kinds of parts for the first gen V you'd like to see in carbon. Again, let's try and be different. Let's try and do something that hasn't already been done, and we can go from there. I'm hoping that with this starting point of the tow arms and the other small parts that we're going to be doing, that in the future we can build a strong site and a strong store for those of you guys that are doing motorsports or just enjoy having increased performance out of your CTS-V. I feel like this platform is coming back. It's getting popular. These cars are right now a little on the cheaper side when it comes to getting an LS car, and I feel like as the community grows, the aftermarket support has to grow right there with them. So let's get these cars back on the map, guys, and thank you for watching. Drop a comment below, hit the thumbs up button, subscribe to the channel for more content, and I'll see you guys in the next one.